Okay, I'd like to call to order the special meeting for the Weathersfield School Board, February 15th, 2022 at 6:31 p.m. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda? Anybody want to add anything? No. Okay, we don't have any public here, so that's none of that. So the item for discussion, the reason for the special meeting was to review the annual town presentation. So who's going to be in charge of that? Brian, you've been working on it, and Jackie?
Yep. Yeah, I'll go ahead and share my screen and
okay.
And go.
And no, I have not. This is Brian and BJ have been hard at work.
Oh, so Brian and BJ have been working on it.
Okay. Goes there.
Great.
All right.
Also, I was curious, did you we should probably discuss, Brian, between you and I, who's going to present what during the town meeting. So
yeah, so we can go over this right now and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
All right, can everybody see everything okay?
Yep.
All right, so we'll go ahead and just start off. So we used Prezi to create this. So when we go there to articles and you click on, talks about the very first article to approve the reports of the school district officers for the period from July 1, 2020 to June 30th, 2021. Article 2, to see if the school district will vote to authorize the school board to borrow money in anticipation of taxes to meet the requirements of the school district for the ensuing year and to authorize the execution and delivery of notes or orders to the school district. To elect all school district officers as required by law. This is Article 3. Article 4, shall the voters of the Weathersfield School District approve the school board to expend $6,964,373, which is the amount that the school board has determined to be necessary for the ensuing fiscal year. It is estimated that this proposed budget, if approved, will result in education spending of $20,998.74 per equalized pupil. This projected spending per equalized pupil is 2.29% higher than the spending for the current year. And then we'll skip Article 5 right now because that will go down to the last part of the meeting. And then we did display the town warning there of that information, going over those first 4 articles. Any questions or concerns on that first part?
No, and I guess I'll do that first one, the articles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Actually, John Brooker Campbell, as moderator, will be reading the articles.
Oh, okay. Good.
So he'll just read. It'll be up on the screen when he reads it. He's going to be presenting virtually. He won't be in person. So he'll just be reading those articles.
Yeah.
And we can just have him up there so people can read it on the screen. I think that might be the easiest.
Mm-hmm. Should we? He has the articles, so.
Yeah, I sent him the signed warning.
Yeah.
You read that from. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. You guys want me to go on to the next part?
Yep.
Okay. Community. So how we met students and families' needs. Special education for kids who qualify, support for at-risk kids who are not served through IEPs, advanced 8th grade math, students may access high school algebra, expanded food program, Hicks-Nichols grants, PTO funding, Rise Amplify, which we just got a Rise Amplify grant too. Thank you, BJ and Emily, for taking care of that. So we're getting five exercise desks. And then other grants bring all kinds of extras to the school at no cost to taxpayers. 4 Winds, we're hoping to do that once COVID is over. We do have pause, safe and healthy schools, and then high attendance by students, staff, and teachers. And then, of course, our community family dinner that we did back in December. So what's new this year? Despite the pandemic, we've been able to start to implement Leader in Me. We've had many students presenting at board meetings. We're allowing students or encouraging students to have voice and choice and starting student clubs as far as having them give us feedback, including them looking at the mission, vision, and core values. We're starting our makerspace. One of the things I put it on there, and I think we need to address it, is talking about solar energy and how it isn't at this point giving us the cost effectiveness that we were hoped for. And then ending on a great note, we were able to name a state snowplow, Big Bessie, who has been around the school, making our roads safe. Then sources of funds for our school, local taxes, state of Vermont education funds, federal government grants, private grants, PTO, generous donations from teachers, staff, parents, community organizations, and then volunteers in non-COVID years. Did you know that Wethersfield raises approximately $5.12 million in school taxes and receives the balance of $1.18 million from the state? And that's one of the programs that we got at school was the Bike Smart program. So we added that in there as well. Questions on community?
Can we talk a little bit about the solar? Like what
Yes.
is going on with that?
Right. That's a good question. I after looking at the minutes from the last year's town meeting, I know that was a big item of discussion about the potential cost savings. I do not know why it's not a cost savings at this point, but our budget, as when we see our budget again, you'll see that our electrical costs have gone up. So I'm just afraid that's going to be brought up because I would be curious as a taxpayer why that's the case.
Is that because of all the extra, like the cleaning and the air circulating and everything like that? Is that like more energy is being used for that?
It could be because we're in the building more as well. But you also then figure that we don't have as many night events as we would in normal years either. So I'm not really sure. So I don't know who we need to.
I can dig into that.
Okay. Thank you, Larry.
Let me talk with Jim and Ed and get to the bottom of that. I know personally, I have solar panels and this at my house. And this year was the first year in 5 years it wasn't a significant savings for me. Because if you remember back, I don't know if it was the spring or the summer. Remember those really dark, overcast days? Remember from the fires out in the country? And then we had to start, and we weren't getting the solar because there was a lot of smog, essentially, in the air, which in Vermont we don't get usually. So we didn't get the solar boost at my personal residence like I did. So now my question is it so much that the electric is up, or is the solar panels, did they not produce what you thought they were going to produce this year? So I'll try to figure that out.
Okay.
Thanks, Larry. Jackie has her hand up.
Thank you. Two pieces. One, I could tell you why I voted no for solar in many ways. Anyway, and the second thing is anything still in yellow highlights? That's to be updated and checked, correct?
Yeah, so that was updated. I sort of wanted to highlight it, but we can take that out, that highlight part out.
No, I just wanted the clarification on what the highlight was.
Yeah, just so it stands out a little bit more about where or how much money we're getting from federal and state government. But we can definitely, I'm okay with taking it out. We left it at that point. Just to sort of say, hey, it's a chunk of money that we're getting, but
it's not a bad thing to have highlighted. I like it.
okay.
Thanks.
Any other questions or concerns?
EJ?
Yeah, do you think we should add something in there about, and I know we talked about this earlier, Brian, about the vaccine clinics. We've had 2 of those, how that's community, and how we've done test kits first we started Test to Stay with our kids, and now we passed out test kits to family. I just think that's really an important part of the community that we're doing for that.
I
Yep.
agree.
That just came to my mind when we were doing.
Yep, we did talk about that earlier, and I forgot. So I will make sure that we add that in there. So the 2 vaccination clinics and Test to Stay kits, as well as take-home tests to keep everyone safe. All right, I'm taking notes here so I can add those things in there. Okay. Anything else for community? And by next year, in normal years, we'll have a lot more, but it is limited with having the limited amount. I almost wanted to put down there that we're starting to allow community members back into sporting events, because I feel that's important too, even though that's just started.
Mark?
No, I'm just completely agreeing with Brian. I think that might be a nice thing to put in there, the community involvement with the sporting events.
Okay, I'll add that in there. Would you like me to mention something too about we're planning for a spring, some type of theatrical production?
Yeah.
Because I think the more we can add in there, the better.
Mm-hmm. And that section, Brian, I think I'll let you do because you know more of the specifics about the different things. So
Okay. And then I'm going to highlight that we're going to do another community dinner because we do have one. I've talked to Craig, so we are going to have one. We're just not quite sure when yet. I'm trying to wait so that we have nicer weather, not nicer weather. I'm loving the weather now, so don't get me wrong. Maybe a little bit warmer weather so we can get some more families out there. So community dinner in late spring, I'll say. Okay, so those are added items. All right. All right. We good on that then?
yep.
Okay. I'm going to move on to goals. Okay. So, and then this is another area that we did leave highlighted because I want to show that we are adding those on there. So to maintain a staffing plan and program of studies which supports the whole child, to meet the Vermont education quality standards set by the State Board of Education, and to retain the trust of the voters by bringing forth a responsible budget. And then we did add in there to return a foreign language to the curriculum and add 2 full-time paraprofessionals for additional classroom support. So that's where those are highlighted.
It's hard to read the yellow highlight
Okay.
section. So you might want to change the color. Or
Okay.
Yeah, when
Or-
I'd had it, it just had 2 different color yellows for a reason at that time to check on things. So definitely put it back to any of that that's that color yellow. You can switch back to the bright. Thanks.
All right. Anything else?
Larry, did you have something you wanted to add? If your hand was up
No,
first.
it just you could just do it the same way you did the Did You Know box. You could swap the one on the left could be the red page with the goals for fiscal year 23 budget in white and the pictures, and on the right would be white background with the black text, which would allow you to do the highlights just like you did before.
Okay. That makes sense. All right. That's an easy fix. All right, so here's our projected enrollment. Right now, we left it with just students in there. I didn't put teacher. In the past, I saw that there was actually teacher names as placeholders.
Yeah, I don't think that was part of the public presentation, though. I
Okay.
don't think. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want that in there because I don't.
It was at the time. And
Oh,
it
it
was?
was. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's better to leave it off because it's not for sure. And
Right, and I don't want people to get either excited or you said that, just I want to leave that part just as open as possible so that they, because if we need to move a teacher, we need to do whatever, then we have that flexibility where it doesn't show that we're locked in and someone says, on February 26th, you said this teacher was going to be in this spot. So that's just my personal thing. So that's just our projected numbers for next year. And then there's our student enrollment as of today. So we're increasing a little bit for next year, 2 in the K through 8, and then 2 in the high school, and that goes by that, those numbers rising. All right. Any questions on that? Okay, I'll go to the SU part. So kept this one pretty short, just to go over the shared expenses across the SU, so that we reminding our taxpayers why we're sharing expenses with the SU. So we're significant services across the SU help to avoid a forced merger under Act 46. Lots of things that we get from the SU, achieving economy of scale, payroll, IT, HR, special ed, maintenance, curriculum, buffering budgetary impacts of students moving into or out of the district, with SPED, balancing some loss of direct control with the benefits of savings and shared risk. Food service program is a huge one example of reclaiming if shared arrangement wasn't working for us in transportation. And so we do get supervisory union assessments through special ed, technology, SU office, and then early childhood program. You might want to add food services in there too. Do we want to keep food services as a separate line item, Larry? As
It's
an
the way it
expense?
shows up in your budget, so I would do it the way it shows up in your
Okay.
budget. So I would do special ed, early childhood, technology SU office is fine. You could call it operations SU office
Okay.
or operations, and that includes the business side, the HR, and all that stuff. And then I would add food services somewhere in there in that white lettering on the right.
All right. So I added it someplace else, and then I just saw that I didn't have it on there.
Yep.
So yep, and so that's what I thought of that.
Jackie?
Just a minor change, maybe in the boxed area that says sharing some significant services. Now that we have a little extra room, just make it a little bit, the spacing a little better.
Okay, in the box.
Yep.
All right. Anything else?
Jackie, did you have something else or? Okay. All right. I think that's it.
All right, we're good. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Fiscal year 2023. Impact on school taxes. Our current tax rate is 1.9482. The new tax rate will be 1.8469, a decrease of right around 10 cents. Additionally, our common level of appraisal went down by 5.22%, and our equalized pupil number went up 4.88%. And so to put it in numbers, it made me understand it a little bit more. $100,000 home value, I wish, decrease of $101, $250, $500, and so on. And then these figures do not reflect for income sensitivity.
The only modification, I didn't want to put it in the Prezi because I think it's really a board call. Sorry, I didn't raise my hand. Board call or a David call, but that's really the projected new tax rate. I'm sure Ed has explained that if the yield, depending on what the education, depending on what the state does with the yield, this is the conservative one that Brad James at the state said we should use. So that's the one we're using.
Okay,
But so
Larry,
I
can
would
you can you email me that wording? Because I'll probably be reading this slide. So just email me that sort of little disclaimer that I should add.
I think what we can simply do is before the word new, put projected new tax rate.
Oh, okay.
And if anybody asks why is it projected, you'd say, well, because it's not final until the state decides. And I can, if you want me to write the yield, I will write that to you what that means. But yeah, that's fine. I can do that. But just because it's not final, you've done your budget, you've done everything you can do. CLA is final, but your yield, because of I think you guys are aware of the $95 million surplus in the ed fund, depending on how much they put. So that's the conservative rate. Ed would kill me, but that could go even better for you. That's the conservative rate. Okay. I'll write that in an email to you. And then Brian, I would just add the word projected before new tax rate.
All right, I put that down on my notes to take care of that then. Anything else on impact on school taxes? Sorry for that noise in the background. Our dog got a new bone. All right, here's where our FY23 general fund projected budget is, and we compared it with the FY22 budget.
Yeah, I think no, I don't know. I'm not sure what we did last year. I don't think I read this whole chart out loud. I'm not even sure if we actually included it.
There was something very similar into it. We actually simplified it a little bit, Emery. I didn't go back as many years as I
Okay.
did in the past. We don't have to even include. I mean, it's up to you guys.
I mean,
if
it's
you
good to.
include it.
I'm fine with putting it up on the screen. I'm just not sure. Did I
That
read
you
it,
needed
BJ? Do you have your hand up? Do you remember how it went last year?
No, I think it was a little bit more in depth last year. I think this one's really easy to read. I can see it really well on my screen. I think this looks really good.
And we can just leave it up, and I can just
Yeah.
point out a couple of things on it,
Yeah.
and people can read it themselves.
Yep.
Okay.
One important fact I would say is the debt service. You're 15 of 20. We're on the
Yep.
the downhill slide. 5 more years. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Now I see that there's a huge difference in contracted services. People might ask about that.
And Marie, that's actually what happened last year. If I recall correctly, it was put up there, and then if people asked questions, either
Uh-huh.
you or David, maybe, or Jean Marie, one of you was fielding questions to that.
Okay.
I think that's how that went.
So we can dig a little deeper with the contracted services to do the exact amount.
Yeah.
Of
I think
why.
that's probably because of like We Are Hope and that kind of stuff that we're doing, or is that?
I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah.
I'll just double check for you. So if you're going to be talking about this one, that you have that adequate or the correct information to be able to share.
Mhm. I think with taxes going down, hopefully we won't get too raked over the coals. So
All right.
Don't scare Brian away.
Nah, I'm good. All right. I'm going to go on to the next one. If everyone's okay with that one.
Yep.
Okay. So here is the SU projected assessments. And so there I did add the food service line. So I will go ahead and add that on the other one. And that one, we went a little bit more in depth. If we want to go back that far, we can. If we want to just keep it from FY22 to FY23, I'm okay with that too.
No, that's fine. What's up there is good. Shows we're going down, which is good, right? Well, some things, food
Yeah.
services,
Food
and
services.
everything else seems to be not too
Yeah,
bad.
it's nothing else is a real huge jump, which is nice.
Yeah.
So, but-
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the SU budget back in November when we did it, December,
Mhm.
for Weathersfield. You're actually, the reason why it's special ed worked out for you're down 4% on your assessment of special ed food services, as you pointed out. So it was a good year for Weathersfield.
Hi, Jamie. Hope you're okay.
All right. And then here's projected high school tuition. And we're projecting.
We had that huge jump last year, but this year a more modest increase.
Right. And the prices of the high schools have gone up tuition wise. And then also we are adding additional students this year. There's 2 more projected from last year, as our numbers stated earlier. And high school tuition is a huge expense. But when you look at it, that's a cheap high school at $2 million for 104 kids. So
That's a very good way of putting it, Brian.
So, because it would cost us a whole heck of a lot more than that to try to budget and have a high school. So, you know, it might stand out as our largest expense, which it is, but in all of reality, it's not a killer. So,
Mhm. And plus, we're able to offer the students so much more by doing it this way than if we tried to run our own little 100-kid high school.
yeah, that would be tough. Let me tell you, that would be tough. So, yeah, definitely giving students that choice, that voice and choice there. Going back to what we said. All right. And then the last one is, and then we'll go to the question slide. Thank you for joining us today. If there's any questions, did you guys want me to add pictures of you guys next to your names?
No, it's okay.
You said that really quick. And so I won't even ask that. But then this is where people can ask questions, and then we'll go back to that original article slide, and then that way, because I just wanted to keep all the articles together. And then to transact any other business which may properly come before the meeting. So if there's anything else that we need to share at that point, then we can do that.
Okay. Mark, you had your hand up?
Withdrawn.
Okay.
All right. So I can make those corrections to it. If there's anything we need to add, I can definitely add stuff. I'm going to go ahead and quit presenting.
Yep. So, what's his name? It's escaping me. John Campbell. He's going to do the articles. Brian, you're going to do community. Can you put that back up again for a sec?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oops. Hold on. Easier said than done.
Brian, while you're doing that, who's going to be actually running the presentation? You or BJ or?
Yeah, I can run it from the floor without a problem.
Okay. You're going to be in the same building that I am. So when
Yeah,
I'm ready
I'll be
to have the
there.
next slide, I could just make a little gesture to you or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Also, yeah, so and then I guess, so you're going to do community and then we go to goals. I think I could probably do goals. If people have questions though, I might, push them to either you or, I guess you probably be the one.
So I'll do.
Okay.
like I said, I'll do
And
community.
then supervisory union I'll do, and any questions I'll pass over to David or Larry. Fiscal year, same thing. And then questions will be, whoever the question pertains to can take it. Before community, I guess I believe John sort of hands the meeting over to me. So I'll, before community, I'll make an announcement of like who everybody is, and everybody can like give a little wave or say hi or whatever. I'll just announce the board members and Brian and David and whoever else, Larry and whoever else from the central office that comes. And then I'll pass the meeting over to you for the community portion, and you can pass it back.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
So I'm going to make all the ones I can make. This one is, I could go in person.
Okay, great.
I'm asking, is this one I can
Yes.
physically go?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
That's
a hybrid
cool.
one.
Oh,
it's
gotcha.
hybrid.
All right.
Yeah. I guess now this is in Prezi, which is I don't. Is that a program that's online? Like, how can I get my hands on this presentation and sort of practice?
I should be able to share it with you. So
Okay.
So I'll make those corrections, and then I can share it with you.
Okay.
I can share it with the entire board. Actually, I should. be
Yeah,
able to.
that's great. Okay.
Otherwise, we just have questions.
Does anybody have anything that they'd like to add to this presentation, or are we all pretty happy with it?
I like that it's been cut back.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that's due to the fact that we probably don't have to sell the budget as much as we did in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
It's really nicely laid out. It seems to cut to the point directly. Nice job, everybody.
Yep.
Good job.
Thanks, BJ and Brian.
Thank you.
Okay.
So everyone can get to the point and just get it done with. So
I guess that's really all that we needed to discuss. Did everybody? Oh, Mark, you have your hand.
Would it be possible to just speak with just board members afterwards
Yeah.
when we're all done? Thank you.
Yeah, we can do a little quick executive session. What else? Did everybody get the thing that Mr. Vila sent out of the different T-shirt designs that the kids worked on?
So awesome.
Yeah. I
I've
thought
just
they
been
were-
telling anybody I run into how excited I am
Yeah.
about that and the March Madness calendars, of which I
Uh-huh.
still need to buy some.
Yeah, I need to come and get some too. Is town meeting day too late, or should I come and get it before that?
no, you can get them on town meeting day as well. So
Okay.
I think PTO is planning on being there to sell them. So
Okay.
Awesome.
You kind of have a captive audience and market to anybody that shows up.
I'm hoping a ton of people don't show up, but I don't know how many people are planning to come in person. We do have enough room to keep everybody pretty separate, right? Well, where are we
Yeah.
going to be, in the gym?
no, we're gonna go ahead and set up in the AP room.
Okay.
We should be able to separate enough in there as well still.
Okay.
But
And we're going to use the owl thing. Is that what we're going to be using?
Yeah, we'll use the owl, and
Uh-huh.
then we'll have chairs and everything set up. Woody's already got the configuration set up and how we're gonna do it
Okay.
for that day. So
Alrighty.
should be good.
Sounds good. Okay. So I guess if we're done with that part of the meeting, if somebody wants to make a motion to go into executive session, we can do that, and the rest of you can get back to your families and your dogs.
So
Thank you,
moved.
Becky and Larry. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Um,
Becky, if you want to just say that we went into executive session and just put down whoever's name you want to, and then like 10 minutes from now, say we wrapped up the meeting.
I'll do
Okay.
that. Bye.
Okay, take
Okay.
care.
I'm going to stop the
Great
recording
job,
now.
by the
Yeah.
way.
Thank you. Larry.
Perfect.
All right, stopping the recording. And now